Those who are hardest to love need it the most. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. But if I wanted shoes, and you had given me a piece of leather to make myself shoes, I should be laughed at if I took it. He was nearest to the gods in that he had the fewest wants. To fear death is nothing else but to believe ourselves to be wise when we are not, and to fancy that we know what we do not know. In effect, nobody knows death, nobody can tell, but it may be the greatest benefit of mankind, and yet men are afraid of it, as if they knew certainly that it were the greatest of evils. Bad men live that they may eat and drink, whereas good men eat and drink that they may live. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. The hour of departure has arrived and we go our ways, I to die and you to live, which is the better, only God knows. If there is anything beautiful other than absolute beauty, that can only be beautiful as far as it partakes of absolute beauty, and this I should say of everything. By beauty all things become beautiful. By greatness only great things become great and greater and greater, and by smallness the less becomes less. There is only one good knowledge and one evil, ignorance. You will know that the divine is so great and of such a nature that it sees and hears everything at once, is present everywhere, and is concerned with everything. Has a philosopher like you failed to discover that our country is more to be valued and higher and holier far than mother or father or any ancestor, and more to be regarded in the eyes of the gods and of men of understanding? By all means, marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. He knew nothing except just the fact of his ignorance. I am confident in the belief that there truly is such a thing as living again, and that the living spring from the dead, and that the souls of the dead are in existence, and that the good souls have a better portion than the evil. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Either knowledge is not to be attained at all, or if at all after death, for then, and not till then, the soul will be in herself alone, and without the body. It would be better for me that multitudes of men should disagree with me, rather than that I, being one, should be out of harmony with myself. The unexamined life is not worth living for a human being. He who has lived as a true philosopher has reason to be of good cheer when he is about to die, and that after death he may hope to receive the greatest good in the other world. In every one of us, there are two ruling and directing principles, whose guidance we follow wherever they may lead. The one being an innate desire of pleasure, the other an acquired judgment which aspires after excellence. By means of beauty, all beautiful things become beautiful. For this appears to me the safest answer to give both to myself and others, and adhering to this, I think that I shall never fall, but that it is a safe answer both for me and anyone else to give, that by means of beauty, beautiful things become beautiful. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. For the mind does not require filling like a bottle, but rather, like wood, it only requires kindling to create in it an impulse to think independently and an ardent desire for the truth. Education is represented by him, not as the filling of a vessel, but as the turning the eye of the soul towards the light. I realized that it was not by wisdom that poets write their poetry, but by a kind of nature or inspiration, such as you find in seers and prophets. For these also say many beautiful things, but do not know anything of what they say. There is no greater evil one can suffer than to hate reasonable discourse. I myself know nothing except just a little, enough to extract an argument from another man who is wise and to receive it fairly. Wonder is the feeling of a philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder. Anyone who holds a true opinion without understanding is like a blind man on the right road. Do not courageous men endure death because they are afraid of yet greater evils? Then all but philosophers are courageous only from fear and because they are afraid. And yet that a man should be courageous from fear and because he is a coward is surely a strange thing. If we are to use women for the same things as the men, we must also teach them the same things. Follow me then and learn. Just as fine clothes and handsome shoes would not be suitable to me. It is a very fine speech, Lysias, but is not suitable for me, for it was manifestly the speech of a lawyer rather than of a philosopher. Why was my own dress good enough to live in, and not good enough to die in?